Well, I don't think we've seen him at the Catholic Church, so I don't know. Okay, so who now would you say is the highest representative of say witchcraft or Wicca? Who would that be out there as far as celebrity status or anything other?
A woman from England named Janet Farrar is probably the most famous person involved with witchcraft and Wicca. And I have a witchcraft multimedia page on my webpage, and you can see her in a film clip I have perform a very bizarre nude S&M Wicca initiation ceremony. I mean, there's my pages are really not for kids. There's a lot of naked ladies on these film clips I got off of YouTube.
Was it
and you can see her. She would probably be the most famous witch in the world right now.
Really?
And another woman named Laurie Cabot, who's in Salem, Massachusetts, is also very famous.
And so I suppose she has a how-to Wicca website. We don't want to give that website out, but do you have a link to that on your website?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I do.
And now we have this question from the Fast Blast. A listener wants to know, was Princess Diana's death an occultic murder?
I would suspect that it was. I believe Princess Diana was murdered by the royal family. Now, Prince Charles himself is a devotee of the Kabbalah, and he supports an organization called the Temenos Academy in London, which is basically an occult think tank. He pays for it. So, yeah, I think so. When you look at the symbology around that, I even have a thing on Prince Charles on my Satanic Crime multimedia page and the links to the Diana assassination. And I even have a piece there. Prince Charles approved a statue which depicts him as the world's savior with angels' wings.
Right.
So he's a very deranged man. And when you look at the things surrounding Diana's death, you know, she died in the Alma Tunnel. And there was all kinds of Freemasonic and occult symbols around that. She actually, the pillar she crashed into was pillar number 13 in the tunnel. So
right
it's very, very bizarre and very freaky, all of the occult symbolism that's around her death. Now, David Icke, who I have mixed feelings about on some things, actually does a pretty good job at bringing out the occult aspects of Diana's murder.
What about Dopra Winfrey? Is she a witch or involved in the occult? Dopra?
Oprah Winfrey is primarily involved in a thing called The Secret, which was put out by Rhonda Byrne.
Right.
And The Secret basically says that if you concentrate and ponder on a goal in your mind long enough, then it will kind of magically manifest in your life.
Right.
And I really don't think The Secret works because Paris Hilton hasn't appeared in my bedroom at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think that really works.
Well,
and I should point out.
No, she could appear on YouTube.
Yeah, I guess so, but I really don't want to get out of bed. I want the real thing.
Okay.
And the other thing is I want to warn people against Oprah Winfrey and her promotion of The Secret because one of the people in that film, they made a documentary film, The Secret, David Shermer, he turned out to be a Ponzi scheme person, and he was robbing and bilking people out of millions of dollars. And another fellow who was involved with the principles of The Secret, who used to do a internet radio program called Mysteries of the Mind, Alex Merklinger, he's on trial now for being a Ponzi scheme artist. So I suggest people keep away from all of that Oprah Winfrey and The Secret stuff because a lot of people are getting ripped off from their life savings, you know?
Oh, sure. What about these, and this is all over the internet, there are pictures of George Bush, other television celebrities doing this hand signal. It looks like what's called a devil's horn. Even Christian music artists are seen doing that. And one quick search on the net, you'll find them. Is it just joke? Is that just joking, or is that mass communicating with people's fellow witches?
I would say it's mass communicating. That is actually the evil eye, and that comes from Sicilian hexing in Italy.
Really?
And it was made popular by heavy metal artists like Gene Simmons and Kiss and a few other people. Now, when you see people doing that, it's so prevalent. They always have a cover story, like Bush says, oh, that's the symbol of the Longhorns, a football team in Texas. But you got to remember, occult organizations always have double and triple meaning for things. They have a public meaning and a private secret meaning for their gestures and symbols.
Well, again, by using those symbols, do they get special powers for using them, or is it just communication?
I think it's both, personally.
Really?
You know, I think they are telling other people that they are doing this, and they obviously have power because they're very rich and famous people, you know?
Yeah. Well, again, there must be sort of like the Catholic priest pedophile phenomena. I mean, I've always believed that with the sheer number of Catholic priests involved, that there is either exchange of information, people telling other priests how to do it. There must be an organization to it, because it's not all of a sudden they just now are coming out. It's because every situation seems to be just replicated. It's like they're telling each other how to do it.
Oh, definitely.
And so
definitely.
Definitely. So I was wondering then on that end of it, with these secret hand signals that we see, this you know, as you described, the Texas Longhorn signal, but it's a devil, whatever. I mean, I wonder if those that use it have an organization that says, use this signal for this, and on this certain day, you know, move your hand sideways with the signal, whatever. I mean, do you think there's an organization to it, or is each occultist picking it up?
I would say that there are several organizations with some meta-organization. Now, another fellow you've had on the show, a friend of mine named Brad Steiger, we were discussing this one time, and we really don't know what to call it. You can call it the Illuminati or whatever you want to call it, but it definitely exists. I don't know if they have a particular name for who they are, but what you're saying, I would say, is true, Daniel. They are organized. They do use very specific hand signals to communicate to each other and really to the world that they're in power.
William Kennedy, do you think it's possible that if someone were to visit a demonic website, and I don't know if there is such a thing as a demonic website, but let's just pretend that there is. There's a lot of demon trash out there. But is it possible that a person could be possessed by going to just, say, a website that is geared and has a lot of evil?
No. Because as I said earlier, Daniel, as Malachi Martin told me, it has to be an act of will. You have to invite a spirit into your being in order to become demonically possessed. And there are different levels of possession as well. So just merely, like, I look at satanic stuff all day, every day, and I'm not possessed because I haven't invited one of these beings into my spirit and body. So just looking at something, no, I would have to say no.
Okay. Well, what about then I guess you could say the same thing if somebody were to read any material written by Aleister Crowley. Could they get possessed?
There again, it has to be an act of free will on the part of the possessed person. You have to make a clear and distinct invitation for this spiritual entity to enter your being, in the same sense that you could read Christian books and theology all day and not become a Christian unless you, of your own free will, do so. You can't become possessed unless you, by your free will, do so. You know, it has to be very